Battlefield 6 is bringing naval warfare back with new vehicles and a new massive coastal map. But the biggest change isn't the boats themselves. The problem is that naval combat adds another layer every player has to account for. It changes how infantry moves, how objectives are attacked and defended, where aircrafts and armor is needed, and ultimately how an entire match flows. That could make Battlefield 6 deeper, more dynamic, and more unpredictable. But it could also create more balancing problems and frustration for players. By the end of this video, I'll explain why Naval Warfare is a much bigger update than most players realize, and why I think this may be exactly what Battlefield 6 has been missing. Battlefield titles have always been at their best when every part of the fight is connected, and especially when players get to create and experience unique moments. For me, those two things have been somewhat lacking prior to the Naval Warfare update. Not to say I have not been enjoying myself playing Battlefield 6, but my experiences within most of the maps and moments created felt lesser compared to my favorite Battlefield titles, those being Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. I think Naval Warfare has the potential to fill these gaps. It adds another space to fight over, another way to move around the map, and another set of decisions that every player has to make. Once naval combat becomes a meaningful part of a match, beaches, docks, rivers, and open water become active combat spaces. They can be used to transport squads, launch attacks, support objectives, or pressure defenders from angles that previously did not matter. Instead of every push coming through the same roads, same buildings, and same open fields, squads can travel along the coast, cross between islands, or land behind an enemy position. That gives attackers more choices, but it also gives defenders more problems. That's why Naval Warfare is more than just adding another vehicle category and a couple new maps. It creates new routes, new threats, and new decisions for everyone in the match. That increase in routes and decisions make matches less predictable, and that matters because players can no longer rely on the same pushes and defensive setups every match. A squad can now bypass the main fight, land somewhere unexpected, and create an entirely new front within seconds. That forces everyone to react. Defenders have more angles to watch, attackers have more freedom to improvise, and a fight that looked completely under control can suddenly shift in the opposite direction. That uncertainty is what creates memorable battlefield moments. Surprise landings, defending multiple fronts, and attacks nobody saw coming. It's not just more chaos. It's giving players more freedom to shape the match and create memorable moments, which is a much bigger change than simply adding boats. So who actually benefits from naval warfare? I like to think almost everyone. Engineers have more vehicles to destroy and more friendly armor to keep alive. Aircrafts and armor have another threat. Support and recon become more valuable, where squads may be cut off from the rest of the team and need supplies, revives, and information to survive. Infantry may benefit the most. A heavily defended road is no longer the only way forward. Players can use the water to bypass choke points, reposition across the map, and attack from angles defenders aren't expecting. That's another strength of this update. You don't need to drive a boat to feel its impact. Naval Warfare changes the decisions every class makes, which means it affects almost every player in the match. The increase in player decisions, uncertainty, and opportunities for memorable moments is exactly what Battlefield 6 needed. Because we know Battlefield is at its best when every player gets to have meaningful impact no matter where they are within the fight. A squad storms the beach while friendly helicopters clear the way. Boats arrive at the shoreline, causing defenders to turn and respond. And then, infantry slips behind them to take the objective. That's the kind of unscripted moments players remember, and Sewer Reef puts all of it on display. This map's objectives are spread across islands, coastal settlements, ports, an airbase, and open water. But the water doesn't divide the map, it connects it. Squads can now rotate quickly between objectives and open new fronts from the shoreline while infantry, armor, aircraft, and boats fight and interact all over the same battlefield. That's why Sewer Reef feels more than Battlefield 6's biggest map. It brings land, air, and sea together in one connected sandbox and puts everything that makes Battlefield great into a single experience. And with Wake Island, Carrier Strike, 2-seat jets, Fighter Sweep, and Title Strike still to come in future phases, Sewer Reef may only be the beginning. So, to wrap this all up, Naval Warfare isn't just another feature being added to Battlefield 6. This update changes movement by turning water into a new route across the map. It changes objective play by creating more ways to attack, defend, and flank. It makes matches less predictable by allowing squads to open new fronts. And best of all, it allows each player to experience more memorable battlefield moments regardless if you step into a boat. From my current experience playing the first phase of the Naval Warfare update, this update is what Battlefield needed to get that epic war sandbox feel. I have never been so bought into Battlefield 6 as I am right now, and that feeling is probably why I decided to make this video. Please let me know in the comments what your experience has been. Is Naval Warfare the feature Battlefield 6 has been missing, or is it just another update that will lack what's needed to elevate this game to the top of your Battlefield tier list? Thanks for watching.